The night was silently creeping through the small town of San Miguel de Allende, in the heart of Mexico. The chilly breeze meandered through the narrow streets, causing lanterns to flicker with a wavering light. I was there to investigate the ominous rumors that haunted the corners of the colonial city. It all began with the tale of an abandoned church, where echoes of the past were said to haunt every corner and dark crevice. Little did I know what I was about to discover. The residents whispered among themselves, with furtive glances and trembling hands. "La Iglesia de la Concepción," they murmured. "The ghost of Father Miguel lives there, brutally murdered by an enraged parishioner." I didn't believe in superstitions or ghosts, but curiosity consumed me. I decided to investigate the church, even though I felt something pulling me back. As I reached the church, a shiver ran down my spine. The stone walls were stained and blackened by time and neglect. The wooden doors creaked at the slightest touch, as if begging to remain closed. Darkness swallowed the entrance, and the flickering candlelight revealed just enough to cause discomfort. I entered with slow and cautious steps, the sound of my footsteps echoing through the emptiness. As I delved into the darkness, a sense of oppression grew in my chest. A voice whispered in the shadowy recesses, almost inaudible but enough to make my hair stand on end. "Leave," it murmured. "You are not welcome here." I ignored the warning, letting my lantern illuminate the macabre images adorning the walls. Faded paintings of saints with empty stares and twisted crucifixes loomed over me, as if watching every move. As I approached the altar, a shadowy figure began to materialize in the gloom. It was a misty figure, clad in worn and blood-stained clerical robes. The face was a mass of shadows and emptiness, except for the eyes that gleamed with eternal hatred. Father Miguel, or what was left of him, hovered in the air, not touching the marble floor. A raspy and strangled laugh escaped his inhuman lips. "Why are you here, mortal?" His voice was a guttural whisper, laden with pain and anger. "I warned you not to come." I tried to speak, but my tongue stuck to the roof of my mouth. Fear enveloped me like a freezing cloak, and a sense of desperation took hold of me. The specter advanced, its ghostly hands reaching toward me, an aura of hatred enveloping it like a miasma. I closed my eyes, expecting the icy touch of death, but nothing happened. When I opened my eyes, the ghost had disappeared, and the church was plunged into an even denser silence. A voice whispered in my mind, a soft and familiar voice calling me back to the light. I ran outside, my heart pounding in my ears, and didn't look back until I was far enough away. In the relative safety of the street, I looked back to see the church shrouded in shadows, a looming silhouette among the old buildings. Doubt settled in me, mixed with the echo of the whispering voice. The image of Father Miguel still danced in my mind, a haunting reminder that not everything is as it seems. The story of the haunted church and the tormented priest stayed with me since that night, a persistent shadow in my memories. I told the story to some, but they laughed and shook their heads, claiming it was just legends of an old town. However, the lingering feeling of being watched by empty eyes and insatiable hatred remained with me, making me question the boundary between reality and the supernatural. The truth about La Iglesia de la Concepción and what awaited me in the darkness would remain a mystery forever. In the days that followed my visit to the haunted church, I couldn't shake off the vision of Father Miguel's ghost. The feeling of being watched persisted, and I found myself looking over my shoulder more often than I'd like to admit. It was as if something had latched onto my soul, a sinister presence that refused to leave me in peace. I tried to push away the dark thoughts, but curiosity and restlessness pushed me back into the narrow and winding streets of San Miguel de Allende. The city, in its colonial beauty, hid ancient secrets and mysteries behind its colorful facades and cobblestone streets. The stories of Father Miguel and the haunted church intertwined with the dark and folkloric plots that permeated the local culture. I decided to delve deeper, researching in the dusty archives of the municipal library and talking to the oldest residents of the city. With every clue I uncovered, a web of betrayal and intrigue began to unravel before my eyes. Stories of ecclesiastical corruption, long-standing rivalries, and land disputes came to life, painting a picture of greed and bitterness that spanned generations. I was led to secret meetings with haunted witnesses, whose voices trembled as they recounted the events that preceded Father Miguel's violent death. They spoke of a divided congregation, unfounded accusations, and a forbidden secret that the priest vowed to protect at any cost. As I delved into the depths of this story, a gruesome pattern began to emerge. On certain nights, when darkness closed in around me, I found myself back in the church, Father Miguel's ghost materializing once again before me. His empty eyes seemed to plead for redemption, while his voice whispered tales of betrayal and revenge that sent shivers down my spine. The tormented spirit sought justice, a resolution to the evil that had haunted him even beyond death. With each revelation, the feeling that something sinister stirred in the shadows intensified. Unexplainable events began to haunt me. Objects moved on their own, shadows danced in the corners of my eyes, and the wind whispered my name in a voice I didn't recognize. Fear crept into my being, but the need to uncover the truth compelled me forward, even if it meant facing the unknown. On one particularly dark night, when the moon was hidden behind heavy clouds, I decided to return to the church, armed with the determination to unveil the secret still hidden in the dark depths of history. The building was shrouded in palpable darkness, its sinister silhouette towering against the night sky. As I advanced towards the altar, a malevolent presence seemed to materialize around me. Shadows twisted and contorted, forming indistinct figures that seemed to lurk from the darkness. Father Miguel's whispering voice echoed in the air, but this time it was accompanied by a cacophony of distorted moans and laughter. My heart pounded in my chest, my blood ran cold through my veins. Every cell in my being clamored to escape, but I refused to yield. I raised my lantern, illuminating the grotesque images carved into the ancient wood. It was the representation of Father Miguel, but his twisted face and vacant eyes were the embodiment of eternal suffering. Before I could react, the church walls began to tremble, and a deafening howl filled the space. The ground shook beneath my feet, and the air around me seemed to fill with a demonic presence that fed on my fear. In an instant, I was engulfed by a suffocating darkness, my consciousness fading away as Father Miguel's voice whispered in my ear one last time, "Leave while you still can." I woke up outside the church, the dim light of dawn beginning to infiltrate the horizon. My clothes were dirty and torn, and my body trembled with exhaustion and terror. I looked back one last time at the haunted church and knew that the dark secret I had uncovered was not something I could simply leave behind. The events of that night would change my life forever, and the memory of Father Miguel would haunt my dreams and thoughts for the rest of my days. The truth about La Iglesia de la Concepción and the horrors that lurked there would remain a mystery forever. After that terrifying night in the haunted church of San Miguel de Allende, I was consumed by an incessant desire to unravel the mysteries surrounding the ghost of Father Miguel and the malevolent forces that plagued the sacred site. More determined than ever, I delved deeper into the investigation, devouring ancient books and seeking forgotten sources that could provide clues about the dark truth hidden for centuries. As I combed through dusty archives and records, I discovered accounts of strange disappearances and inexplicable events dating back centuries. Stories of villagers vanishing without a trace, whispers of dark rituals performed under the cover of night, and legends of a demonic entity that fed on the fear and hopelessness of the innocent. Father Miguel's figure repeatedly emerged in these narratives, a sinister presence haunting the consciousness of those who dared defy the shadows. With determination rooted in my core, I returned to the abandoned church with the intention of confronting the dark secrets concealed within. The building was cloaked in a deadly silence, as if the spirits that haunted its walls were lying in wait, anticipating my return with sinister patience. As I explored the dark corridors and silent galleries, the murmurs of lost souls intensified, echoing between worn pillars and crumbling stained glass windows. Shadows danced around me, contorting into grotesque shapes and twisted visions that defied logic and reason. Father Miguel's presence materialized once again, his ghostly figure hovering before me, eyes glowing with a supernatural light. "Why are you here, mortal?" His voice resonated. My legs shook under the weight of fear and oppression, but the need to unveil the truth surpassed all doubts and fears. I raised my lantern, reciting sacred words and invoking protective incantations as I ventured into the darkest corners of the church, searching for answers that could free not only my soul but also those who had succumbed to the malevolent power that lingered there. With every step, the shadows writhed and hissed, a cacophony of whispering voices clamoring for redemption and vengeance. Profane symbols adorned the walls, and a foul scent of sulfur mingled with the stagnant air. The heat of the demonic presence grew more intense, enveloping me in a suffocating embrace that seemed to draw the very life from my veins. The truth revealed itself before me as I reached the dark heart of the church. A desecrated altar, stained with the blood of ancient sacrifices, stood amidst a scene of unimaginable horrors. Arcane symbols adorned the walls, and flames danced around a hooded figure chanting forbidden words in an ancient language. Before the altar, a black presence slowly materialized, a demonic entity exuding an aura of indescribable power and darkness. Father Miguel's voice joined the cacophony of whispers, a desperate plea for liberation and divine justice. As the entity rose, its claws extended toward me, I knew that my quest for truth had awakened a dormant evil destined to consume my soul. With courage born of desperation, I raised the cross I carried around my neck and recited the sacred words ingrained in me since childhood. The light of faith shone brightly, banishing the shadows and weakening the demonic entity until it wavered under the weight of the divine light emanating from our united hearts. A chorus of angelic voices echoed through the church, dispersing the darkness and purifying the profane place. The weakened demonic entity, helpless and impotent, was consumed by sacred fire, vanishing in a swirl of smoke and despair. Father Miguel, liberated from his spectral prison, finally found redemption and ascended to eternal peace, carrying with him the shadows that had tormented his soul for so long. As the morning light filtered through the church windows, the survivors witnessed the transformation of the once tainted sacred site, now purified and free from the curse that had haunted it for centuries. Our lives were forever changed by the confrontation with evil, but the hope and faith that united us remained unshaken, lighting a path of redemption and renewal for the city of San Miguel de Allende. Leaving behind the now restored church, I felt an ancient weight being lifted from my shoulders, a sense of relief and gratitude flooding my being. The dark story of Father Miguel and the haunted church could finally rest in peace, and the city could recover from centuries of oppression and fear. As we walked away, a feeling of hope and rebirth accompanied us, reminding us that even in the depths of darkness, the light of courage and faith will never cease to shine.